Survival on Purpose's coverage of the 2024 SHOT Show is sponsored by Hog Holsters, helping Americans wear guns, and Excess Sights, the fastest sights in any light. Hog Holsters and Excess Sights, both proudly made in the USA. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose coverage of the 2024 SHOT Show. I'm here with Josh from Holosun. Take a look at what Holosun's got out now. I know you got some new stuff. You got some really cool stuff, and I had a couple of viewer questions, so we can talk about it as we go. So
totally. So
take it away, Josh.
Yep. I'll hit the high notes really quick, and then we'll cover some of those questions for you real fast. The first question I know a lot of people are going to have is, hey, when are those DRS shipping out? We kind of want to buy those pretty soon. Great news, the DRS night vision and thermal are going to be shipping in the next 2 weeks here. So really? DRS night vision is already shipping. Thermal should be close behind that. So you guys will have those relatively soon, which I know is a really anticipated one from last year. So
yeah, that's definitely cool.
Yeah, super cool. I can't wait to get those out for everybody to play.
So what's the MSRP on those?
Yeah, so we're going to do on the thermal, it's going to be around $1,600. On the night vision, it's going to be around $1,000.
That's a good price.
Yeah, we're trying to come in at a price that people can actually afford to get one. I think the thermals is definitely going to be probably the steal of the show. Everyone loves those so much, but yeah, the price point's at a pretty reasonable rate, we feel like, for the usability you get out of it. So continuing towards back to our SCS line for new lineups for this year, we have the SCS for the P10s, so the CZ P10 series. It's a great pistol. They reached out to us and said, hey, we want to do something with it. We matched the slide serrations on the side. Once again, just kind of removing the plate system from it entirely, direct mount to the slides. You don't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff. So yeah, that'll be new for Q2. So pretty much everything on the table actually is going to be launching in Q2 of this year is our projected timeline. So we have a little bit of a wait, but definitely not a whole year for all the new stuff that's coming out. So we have a really cool, interesting new project coming up with Ronin, 2 LAM of Ronin Tactics, where we're going to be producing what we're calling the Ames Max. And so we took our Ames unit and just made it incredibly huge. Like, this thing is just such a huge window. So the solar panel on top is so big, it can probably power your house. It's got such a crazy amount of energy coming out of there. But it's just an oversized Ames. So it still has those protective covers that everybody knows and loves. Now it has a QD mount on the side, a little easier to get on and off. You got a riser or something like that. You can just easily use it on that. So ridiculously huge optic.
Yeah, I'm digging the QD mounts for sure.
Yeah, and then kind of continuing with that Ronin series, we now have the EPS carry. So we have the Ronin logo on the top there. Kind of the same thing for the EPS, no big changes on that. Just kind of a signature series for him for this year. Yep. Taking the theme of increasing things and making them a little bit bigger, we have our HM6X. So everyone knows and loves our 3X magnifier. Now I'm just adding 3 more magnification, giving you up to 6X. So yeah, just so you got a 762, something you want to reach out a little bit further and touch it, you got a little bit more to do. Taking our PID series for the flashlights, we've now shrunk those down about 20%. So everyone loves the PIDs. They're really great flashlights. The price point's awesome on those. These are going to come in even cheaper than those. We're looking at $140 on the low end to $180 on the high end. Stat-wise, you're looking at 1,000 lumens and 10,000 candela. One thing that maybe, depends how you look at it, but it does have an internal rechargeable battery. It's possible that we might go to an 18350 or possibly a CR123A, but we kind of really like to keep the rechargeable aspect of it. Just makes things a little simpler for people. Yeah. You don't have to go out and buy a whole bunch of batteries. This will come in 2 flavors. We'll have a white light, and we'll also have one that has a laser built into it. So that's where that $40 price increase comes from.
So the laser is just $40 extra for a laser.
Exactly. Yep. And it's all built into the housing, as you can see. So it's really nice and streamlined. It's right in the bezel. You don't actually have this big hump on the bottom of it. It still fits holsters. Holster compatibility, we're still kind of working out, figuring out exactly what it's all going to fit inside of. So once we have more information about that, we'll let everybody know. Right. So moving a little further down the line with our flashlight series, we have the new Raid. And the Raid flashlight is honestly, I think, probably going to be one of our bigger releases for this year. The price point on this is incredible for the features that you get. So I'll list through the features, and I'll let you guess how much you think it costs, and then we'll find out. So in the box, you're going to get a tail cap in the back here that has a push button, and you're also going to get one that has a plug for a switch. And the switch is included in the box. The tail cap has a magnetic pass-through for charging, so you don't have to take the light off your rifle to charge it. But if you do need to swap out a battery, you can just take off the tail cap and put in a new 18650 rechargeable. So super easy on that front. The mount situation on here, we didn't want to reinvent the wheel, so we're just using a standard Scout mount series for the body profile. In the box, you're going to have an M-LOK mount and a Picatinny mount, so depending upon what platform you want to use. Now, probably the major stats that everybody wants to know is, hey, how many candela, how many lumens, right? 80,000 candela with 1,000 lumens. So incredibly bright. Yeah, very bright. And one thing too that a lot of people maybe not notice is the light pattern on the beam is very neutral. So it's not overly blue. It's not overly orange. So it's a really, really nice color recreation. So you get all that in the box with a switch. How much do you think it costs?
$400.
You can buy 2 of those for this price.
That's a good price.
We're looking at $180 for this for a map. So
that's a good price.
So
is it momentary on and constant on?
So you can click it to keep it on that way, or you can do momentary. Yep, either or. Yep. We'll also have the pressure pad, so you can click and hold it. So super easy on that side of things. Moving a little further down the list, probably one of the more exciting releases this year for us is the new Iris. And this is our new laser with the IR illuminator that has the V-cell technology. So incredibly crisp beam pattern around the light and the illumination, as well as having an adjustable slider on the top here. So you can simply push it forward or back to increase the size of the IR illuminator. So if you're like, hey, what's that behind that tree? You can focus that energy in and get a really good positive idea on what you're seeing. So
that's cool.
The price point on this is going to be around $800. So we're really coming in at a very, very reasonable price point.
Oh yeah, for an IR illuminator, yeah, that's a great price.
And the size and the form factor. Then you take our thermal sensor and you do some wizardry. You ask our engineers to say, hey, how can we make this smaller? And then they come up with something like this. This is our new digital pistol thermal sight. So we've taken our thermal technology and shrunk it down into 2 separate units that wirelessly communicate with one another. So this goes on the flashlight area of your pistol. It has a white light still built into it. Click the button on the bottom, turns on the thermal sensor, wirelessly transmits the data to the camera and the feed inside of here on the camera screen. Now you have an overlay just like our thermal works, but now on a pistol size optic.
That's cool.
So yeah, the engineers are always cooking up some incredible magic for the year.
Is that in production now?
No, so this one's definitely in its very early prototype stages. I expect we'll probably see it on the market maybe next year. We have a lot of time we need to spend with it to get it kind of up to speed where we want it. So
a little teaser for you there.
Exactly.
Thermal pistol sight.
Yep.
That's
just
pretty
pushing
cool.
the boundaries of the innovation side of things as far as we can on that.
Just
coming up with cool ideas.
I think, in my personal opinion, one of the greatest things you come up with is that circle reticle. Well, MRS system, I really, really like that.
Yep, 100%. I think the cool thing about the MRS system is the fact that you can adjust it to what you need. If you get used to shooting with just a 2M dot, it's super easy. You can just click and hold the minus button and swap it on there. If you're shooting with somebody who's new and they don't know how to pick up the dot as easily, you can just put the MRS ring back on and boom, all of a sudden they have it.
Yeah, and I don't know if I know you know the guys at Tactical Response, and Lewis coined the phrase "circle of death," right? He just uses circle only.
Yep.
And you think about it, it's 32 MOA, so at 10 feet, 15 feet, you're talking like this.
Talking very small
There's
areas.
a circle in there, you don't really have to, that's all you need.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
Yep, 100%.
So I did have a viewer question about, I think, one of the new low profile sights.
Okay.
So you do not need to change the sight for those, like the really thin ones, right? You direct mount and you don't have to put suppressor height sights or anything on it.
Right, so you would not want to put suppressor height sights because how low this sits on the frame. Having any suppressor height sights is going to rise them up too high to where they almost will block the dot entirely. So the whole goal of these is to have these sit as low as possible and co-witness with the iron sights to prevent people from having to worry about swapping out to aftermarket iron sights. Because it's not a simple process to just take your gun and put in some iron sights. You got to have a special tool, go to your gunsmith, and if you don't install them correctly, well, now your whole zero is off. So it's one of those things where we're trying to simplify it for people. With the SES series, direct mounts, you don't have to think about it. It's very simplest.
Yeah, so if you have it, so you're, instead of having plates, adaptive plates, you order a light for your specific model. In some cases.
Well, like basically these are built for specific guns.
Yeah.
So we try to match the styling for the slides and stuff like that. And so it's one of those things where if you have an optics ready pistol and you're like, hey, how many SESs? We make like, I think 7 or 8 SESs at this point. You can just find one that kind of fits your model and drop it on there and you're good to go. We're hoping to keep expanding more SESs as we go. But it just kind of depends on what the popular gun models are for that time period. So we're hoping to have something for everything, but obviously there's a lot of guns on the market, so we can't just make them for all of them.
Right.
So.
You got to pick your battles.
Yeah, exactly.
But if they have something you don't have a specific model specific sight for, you can still use adaptive plates. And
if you, a lot of the times, if it's a proprietary slide like the MOS or some of the other cuts that slide manufacturers are doing, where you have to use a plate, every single one of our pistol optics will work predominantly with most of the plates on the market. So we try to make things as streamlined as possible. And I like that you got the quick release, quick QD
mounts, because
right.
you know, if your sight gets damaged, you can just get it out of the way.
Exactly. Yep. It's just a simple button press, and you're good to go.
I mean, if you're in a situation where your sight gets damaged, you might want to get yourself out of the way.
Yeah, you might have some other things to worry about, but your optic is definitely not going to be one of them.
That's cool.
100%.
Well, so Holosun.com, right?
Yeah.
And if you're local, anywhere that sells quality stuff, really, I mean, you guys are all over.
Yeah,
the place.
there's really not too many stores that aren't really good brand and reputation that we're not selling products
so
these days.
Good job. I know you're a busy man, Josh. Thanks for taking a minute,
of course,
to show us some of this new stuff. Thank you for watching Survival on Purpose coverage of the 2024 SHOT Show. I got it right this time. Remember, survival is not an accident, so be prepared. Thanks for tuning in to the Survival on Purpose coverage of the 2024 SHOT Show. I encourage you to check out the sponsors for this year's coverage, Hog Holsters and Excess Sights. They're both great companies making great products here in the USA, and they're both products that I carry and trust my life to every single day. Hog Holsters is the absolute best holster I've ever used. Features the Ulti-Clip, and each one is lovingly handcrafted by John Abbott at Hog Holsters. And Hog Holsters stands for Helping Americans Wear Guns, and that's exactly what they're doing. Excess Sights. Again, I've been using these sights for years and years. They are the only sights I have on any of my carry pistols, and I really like them because not only are they quick to pick up, they're good at any light. They're very, very fast sights, and they're also steel sights. They are 100% made in the USA, and they're designed and made by people who shoot and know how to shoot. So the folks at Excess Sights and Hog Holsters are both great people. I encourage you to check them out, and thanks again to Excess Sights and Hog Holsters for sponsoring this year's coverage of the 2024 SHOT Show.